open doors. I know the best part of that song is coming up here shortly, but we're just gonna cut to the chase here. Welcome to the week. What are we in now? Fuck, it's either 8 or 9 podcasts here. I think it's 9. I'm your award-winning host, Robbie Wright. We got a pretty good show for you guys lined up here. Like the first off, congrats, Casey Gibbons. He was the top point getter this week. Some of you guys sent me some pretty funny questions here. Pretty curious to see some of his responses for some of these, so I'd like to thank you guys there. We'll jump into the matchups here from last week. Oh, before we get going here, a little bit of a just for the draft order for next season. I've gotten, I think, 2 text messages about this. So, the 6 teams that do not make the playoffs, you guys are playing for a draft order next year. For the top 6 spots. Whoever comes in first, whoever wins that playoff gets the first pick. Whoever comes in second gets a second, and so on. You're not going to pick your spot. It's going to get way too complicated. So, for example, if you come in 6th place in that playoff, you get the 6th spot here. So, just to clear things up in the air there. And then the playoffs, the actual playoffs where the does not include the rejects. Whoever comes in 6th place gets the 6th pick, or gets a 7th and 8th, and so on. So the winner gets a 12th pick next year. So just to keep things a little interesting, no more golf ball roulette. And yeah, we will. Let me find the scores here from last week. Hard to believe we're in week 10 now. Hard to believe how fast the season's going. So we'll start off with my matchup here. This was not a good matchup here for Business Booming, as Team Bonesaw got a huge win. It's a very competitive right now. The first 6 spots trying to get in the playoffs, and these were 2 teams currently in a playoff spot here. Bonesaw got a nice 1-game edge now, as he took me down by a score of 133.6 to 111.8. Looking at the matchup here, Melvin Gordon's just been scoring touchdowns all year. Jordy Nelson, I know he had a touchdown against Indy. And Mariota had a good game too. So really what killed me was David Carr didn't do jack shit. He got 7.7, and this Smith dude who I picked up from Tampa got hurt on Thursday Night Football. He didn't do anything for me. Otherwise, it probably would have been a little bit more of a competitive game. But congrats to Bonesaw on the win. Moving to the next matchup here, it was a Best Buds rivalry matchup. We had Game of Gronk, the newly named team name of Mike Madden versus Shitty Farm Team 3, which is Ben's shitty team. Look at the scores here. Ben, I'm pretty sure, is tapped out for the season, so thanks for playing. Pretty smooth sailing game from Mike. He didn't really do anything too crazy here, but he put up 31.1, and Brandon Cooks put up, Melvin Ingram put up 31.1. So I'm getting a little half awake here. Some people wake up at 4:30 in the morning to work out. Pretty much all you guys in this league, except maybe Casey, don't do it, which makes me a lot better than a lot of you guys. So sometimes you get a little tired here. So my analysis might not be on par today. So I'd like to apologize if I'm not quite up to speed here. It's good enough for here. Mattered, unfortunately, isn't really putting too much effort into this, so I'm not going to give him too much analysis. Mike, he arguably has maybe the best team right now, especially with the pickup of Gronk here. He got Gronk at the right time, right when Jordan, he is now not eligible to make trades. He is officially out of the playoff scenario, so we are down to 11 teams out of the 12. We move on to the next matchup here. Speaking of Jordan, it was Lloyd Christmas versus Jordan. Lloyd Christmas was Carmen Fortunato. Carmen took down Jordan by a score of 138.8 to 107.5. Lloyd Christmas, pretty much everyone showed up. Jai High, or however you pronounce his name, from Miami. He's actually been, you might make an argument, he's been the best waiver wire claim this year. He's been doing pretty good for Miami. Sam Bradford had a pretty average game. Fuck the Vikings. That's a whole nother subject. Text me if you want to hear about that. I lost some money on a teaser I put in Vegas. The Vikings literally just had to win the fucking game, and Actually, I'll tell the story right now because it takes literally 30 seconds. They were up by 3 points with 20 seconds left in the fourth quarter. The Lions shoved the ball down, kicked a field goal to tie it, 58-yarder, and then won in overtime on a touchdown. So, yeah, that's my lost bet story there. But congrats to Carmen on the win. 138.8 to 107.5. Jordan, Julio Jones showed up for you. Nice trade. Golden Tate did. But other than that, no one else did. Move on to the next matchup here. It was Beats by DeAndre versus the Monkey Bar MVPs, and Jared took down Darawanko by a score of 125.8 to 101.1. And not really, I know Darawanko's starting to have a little bit of a skid here. He's now down to 4-5. Look at the matchup here. I don't even know who the fuck this dude is. This Harris dude, Jordan or Jared picked up. Got him 23.2. And then Jimmy Graham got him 30.3. But other than that, didn't really get. Other than those two guys, I mean, he really didn't get too much out of anyone else. And Matt Bryan got him 16 points. Whereas Darawanko, Odell Beckham had a nice game, 2 touchdowns, but that was really, and then, yeah, it really was it. San Diego's D did well. I know they had 2 touchdowns in the game, but it wasn't enough. So congrats to Jared on the win. He improves to 6-3, while Darawanko drops to 4-5. Move on to the next matchup here. It was Hollywood Squares against Call Sign Viper, George McCoy. And George took down Trevor by a score of 110.6 to 100.3. Look at the matchup here. Let's see. George didn't really have one of his better games. Fucking Murray on Oakland. He had, I think, 3 one-yard touchdowns. That's what killed me with Derek Carr. But other than that, that was really the difference. Was Latavius Murray, whatever the fuck his name is, was enough to squeak by Trevor here, and that was a big win for George to stay in the playoff hunt here. Whereas not a good loss for Trevor. Look at the standings here before I get into Casey's matchup here. Currently, we got a 4-way tie for first place. We got Placey, Jared, Bonesaw, and Mike all at 6-3. And then we got 3 teams at 5-4, which is Carmen, myself, and George. And we got 2 teams at 4-5, which is Casey and Darawanko. And then you got Trevor and Ben. Still alive, barely, by records of 3-6. So pretty much just must win every week now for those 2. We'll jump into Casey's matchup here. Top point getter, we'll give him a little love. Look at Winston, 21.5. Ezekiel Elliott, he's just been. I'll be pretty blunt here. Casey's definitely won that trade, that DeAndre Hopkins trade he made for Ezekiel Elliott. And then Mike Evans, you can make an argument he might be one of the better, if not the best wide receiver right now in football. I mean, you look at the rankings, he's been up there. He's been better than Antonio Brown as of late. Whereas Placey, unfortunately, Aaron Rodgers had a nice showing, and so did Stephon Diggs. But other than that, he really didn't get too much out of anyone else. Denver's D gave him 0 points, didn't help him. So we'll get Casey on the phone here, and pretty excited to ask him some of these questions. We'll fire up a FaceTime here. And we would like to welcome to the award-winning podcast, the top point getter, Mr. Casey Gibbons. Casey, how are you doing right now?
I'm good, Rob. How are you?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty fucking tired right now.
Yeah, me too, buddy.
And so it happens when you wake up early and you're training and you're trying to be better than everyone. Sometimes you start to hit a wall here, and I hit a wall here.
I hear you loud and clear. I know exactly what you mean.
So take me through this past matchup here. You had a big win against Placey, who's one of the who's been relatively hot this season. You've been a team that hasn't quite caught in too many breaks. I mean, you put up big numbers every week, and you seem to hit someone who's putting up an even bigger number each week.
Yeah, I mean, I got off to a good start on Thursday. Mike Evans and Jameis Winston both had pretty good games, so that kind of put me out ahead. And then I had a lot of guys who just no one else really went too crazy, but everyone was pretty consistently 10 points, 12 points, stuff like that. So it was a good week. Good week for me, Rob.
Well, congratulations. You were $25 richer. What are you gonna do with that $25?
I might tell Dan to forget about his cable bill for the month. I haven't decided yet.
Nah, don't do that.
No, I'm not going to. I don't know. I don't know. $25, man. I'll buy some Chipotle for you or something.
There you get it. All right, you ready for these questions?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Question 1. What motivated you to clean your shitty apartment when you lived by yourself senior year?
Nothing really, obviously, since you guys saw it and it was a shithole and people would come there all the time. But nothing really motivated me. I guess maybe my parents coming over, that would be about it, to clean up a little bit. But definitely, certainly not you guys, that's for sure. But
yeah,
it was pretty bad.
That was bad. That was really bad.
Yeah.
Just a little disclaimer about that for those of you guys who don't know. Casey lived by himself at Pitt his senior year.
Junior.
Not super senior year. It was, I don't know what year it was.
Yeah.
He had an apartment by himself, and when I mean he had an apartment by himself, he did not. He literally was a hoarder. He liked to collect garbage and
there was
things.
traffic cones, pizza boxes, you name it.
It was
there's so much shit in there.
It was an absolute shithole, but he moved on
that
to.
apartment was that apartment was a shithole to begin with, and I just did it no favors whatsoever.
Yeah, and it was kind of hard, kind of tough to be motivated whenever you weren't living in the nicest of spots. But he got through, and he's currently living in my old apartment.
Oh yeah.
And in Shady Side.
Yeah.
So move on to the next question. The question is, Casey, since your pussy ass thinks you can beat up James Neal, and I beat your ass and everything, does that mean that I can also beat up James Neal?
I know this was probably George. The answer to that is no, because George is definitely not capable of beating James Neal. No, George is all talk, and I know this is his question. He's a bitch. He never shows up to events anymore because he's scared of me, and anytime he wants to throw down, I'm ready to go.
We got some daggers being thrown here on the award-winning podcast here. We have not had anyone call out a teammate physically or an opponent physically. So make note of that here, George. If you are listening, which you should be because it's award-winning, Casey could kick your ass.
Yeah.
So next question is, I know the answer to this, but someone's being an asshole. Is Shannon single?
No, she's not. She's not. She's dating a college football player, actually. So, if they are really that interested, they can go talk to him.
That's a good answer. Next question is, did you get a refund from your first knee surgery after the second one?
No. I wish, because those things are $70,000 a pop, and my insurance company actually said they will not pay for me to have another one because they say I'm not a competitive athlete anymore. I don't know what they mean by that, but no, they don't. And even the doctor, I had Dr. Freddie Fu, he actually told my mom, I don't remember this, I was still coming out of anesthesia, but he told my mom that he now made my knee better than God made it, which is a pretty cocky thing to say.
That was probably the cockiest thing you could ever say.
Yeah, and especially when I went and tore it again, so obviously he did a pretty shitty job.
Jesus Christ. All right, next question. And disclaimer, I did not ask this question.
Okay.
But, so I'm going to put that out there right now.
Okay.
What do you think of me as a commissioner? If there's anything you can change about the league, what would it be?
I think our commissioner's doing a fine job. Puts on a great podcast. Is there anything I would change? That's a really on the spot question. Not really. I think maybe just limit the amount of trades just to put the handcuffs on Jared. I think that'd be funny. But other than that, nothing really. I mean, everything runs pretty smoothly, I think.
It's good. We're going places with the league, and only getting better every year.
I agree.
Okay, here. This is a fun question.
Okay.
If you could pick one person in the league to date Shannon if she was single, who would it be?
Carmen. I don't even need to think about it. He's the nicest one out of all of you.
I would. If you made me pick someone, I would probably say the exact same answer. So,
Yeah. I mean, I love you guys, but you're all assholes except for Carmen.
I agree. I think that's the best answer too. So,
It's a no-brainer.
you didn't even hesitate too.
I didn't.
Like the second someone sent me a text, I was like, Carmen.
Yeah.
So
right.
we're on the same page there.
Right.
All right, and the last question is, what would be the reason if you and James Neal would ever come to blows? What would it be over?
It would probably be because I saw him. I was with one of you guys, and they were like, "Hey, James Neal, this dude's been talking shit on you for like the last 5 years." So then he would have to say something to me, and then we would probably just fight like for that reason. But like if I wasn't with one of you guys, I'm sure we would not fight because I'm not a very confrontational person. But yeah, if you guys were there, just one of you, I'm sure like that would cause us to probably get into some type of altercation. I don't know if we would actually fight, but that would probably be the only way.
You guys would probably just come to probably you two would probably honestly have like a little bit of a talk just to kind of like get over your differences. Why you feel so strongly about needing to kick his ass, and maybe he would have a few things to say to you, and then you guys would probably talk your way out of it. If I had to predict anything that would happen.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're probably right, but I mean, it would be pretty funny if that did happen. I'm not gonna lie. Like if we actually ever did fight, it would like somebody. I hope one of you would at least take your phone out and film it.
I would 100% take my phone out and film it.
Yeah, someone please film it. That's all I have to say.
Well, Casey, I would like to thank you for tuning into the award-winning podcast. And you did a good job answering these questions, and best of luck the rest of the season.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah, you going to be home for Thanksgiving or what?
Yeah, I come in Wednesday night, and I'm leaving Sunday morning.
Are we going to go out drinking Wednesday night is the question.
Yeah, that's like, it's kind of a no-brainer.
All right, well, there it is, everyone who listens to the award-winning podcast Wednesday night.
Wednesday night, bam.
All right, thanks, Rob.
All right, I'll talk to you, Casey.
All right, bye.
I want to thank Casey for tuning in to the award-winning podcast. That concludes this week's episode here. I'm tired as fuck. Gonna call it a night here. Some people are to get up at 4:30 in the morning, crack of dawn to get a workout in because I'm better than everyone. So it's kind of what you got to do. But thank you for tuning in, and best of luck next week.